Hello, friends. Wanted to hop on and give kind of a quick rundown of some books I've made, options that there are, ideas, what I've made, all the in between. So, first of all, I want to point out that I've made these books for a long time. And I was trying to look through my books quickly to see if I could find the oldest book I've made. This is the only one I could come up with for now. And like I said, this was quickly. This is in 2009. So this one goes back a ways. But this book I had created, I don't want to say used to, but I did photography. Life has changed a little bit and I haven't really done it a whole lot since having kids. But anyways, so this book was one of my first books that I made, and it was just an example of my photography. That's what this one is. So no words or anything, just sample pictures of what I did. But anyways, so that was my first book I made back in 2009, I'm sorry. Like I said, I think that's my oldest book. Then I had one that I had made for Michael and I when we first started dating. Again, these are like simple pages, not real detailed. I've learned a lot along the way. Not to mention, I think these two books was a different company than what I use now. Very similar. So let's talk about sizes. So I've made several different sizes. I would say 80% of my books are all made in the 8.5 by 11 size. So the size of a piece of paper, basically. And I love this size. Like I said, most of my books are in this. But I have certain books that are in different sizes. So for example, we used to have this little lady in our life. She has passed, but the last couple Christmases we had together with her, we took lots of pictures because she was 99. Anyways, so I made books of our Christmas and our time together with her. So I didn't need anything big. I didn't need the 8.5 by 11 size book. So these are actually 8 by 6. So in comparison, let's see if I can do it this way. Let's see, I'm trying to hide people's faces. So you can kind of see the size-wise. It is smaller, but it's like a perfect for a little gift if you want to give somebody. Maybe it's just a small book about Christmas that you guys had together and you want to give to grandma or your aunt or uncle or friend, or this would be a great size. Just a small little, the pages are, I mean, you can fit like one nice size picture. I think that's maybe what most of these are. There's a couple with 2 on a page. And they're still big enough that you can see they're not crammed in. I mean, there's 3 on that page. So you can see small, but cute. Very cute. I only have 2 that I've ever made that size because I didn't have a ton of pictures and I didn't need a whole lot of room. Now, one that I have made more of, I don't know if these are all of them, but this is the 8.5 by 8.5 size books. Okay, so again, I'll compare. So this back one is 8.5 by 11. This is 8.5 by 8.5. This is a good size. This is the smallest size, and then this is the next size up. Now, what I have started with this one is some of my family does a camp out every summer. And so from the very first one, we actually hosted the first several. I took pictures, obviously. If anybody knows me, I take tons of pictures, which is why this is right up my alley. So I started making a book of all the pictures compiled from the camp out. So granted, all the pictures in the book are not mine, but the family knows that they take pictures too, we compile them, and I put them into a book. And then each of the family buys a copy from me. I make the book, they buy the copy. It's great. So that's what each of these are. So I started this size for the camp out, and I've stuck with the same size each year. Couple reasons. My family that buys them might not want the big book. We don't have 1,000 pictures to put in it. I mean, we've got a bunch, but they all fit perfectly in here, and it's cheaper. So I don't feel bad when I put this book together and then family wants a copy and I'm like, $30, whatever it is, versus if I did a bigger book, it would be more, and I would feel a little more bad to ask for more money. So anyways, that's the 8.5 by 8.5. And I love this size. Love it. Another good gift size. So those pages, you can still fit a decent amount on them. Like this one has several pictures on this side, but one big picture here. So, and the one with several pictures, you can still see the pictures clearly, again, like these. So you can still get a lot in this smaller size book. But I want to show you too how nicely they are bound. All of these books. These first books that I made how many years ago? Can't even tell. Like, they're not coming apart. My kids look at them all the time. All the time. Now, a page could get ripped, like any book you buy anywhere. Like, that's something you can't avoid sometimes with little kids' fingers. But as far as like I can hold it by the page, they ain't coming out. These books are bound fantastically. So there's that size. So that's the 8.5 by 8.5. Now, this book here is another 8.5 by 11, like most of my books. This is probably the largest book I've ever made, and by largest I mean the most pages. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back on my account to see how many pages. There's a lot. This was my wedding. So, of course, there's a ton of pictures, to put in them. But I create every page individually in these books. So they have templates that you can use if you want to just basically click and drag your pictures into already set up pages, or you can start out with a blank page and bring each picture in and size them and arrange them and put borders on them and all that stuff. That's how I like to do it, because I just want each page unique, each book unique. So this book doesn't have a whole lot of writing in it, because the pictures tell the story, So like backgrounds, I can bring out colors from the pictures. So I matched this background and then I added a sticker, quote unquote sticker, that's what those are called, to the pages, and used my wedding colors throughout the entire book. With a little bit of writing, here and there. But again, this is probably my thickest book, probably my most expensive book, maybe. Now, there is another book that I recently made that was 85 pages. I wish I had it. I still might order myself a copy at some point, but I made it as a gift, and it was 12 by 12. So it was square like this rather than rectangle. Okay, so bear with me. And it was obviously taller than this because this is 11 inches, so another inch on it. It was beautiful. I love the size. I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt for never making one that size before then. Actually, initially when I started creating the book, I created it to be a 10 by 10, which is still a nice size. And then when I got done with it, and it was so filled with so much goodness, that it wasn't much more to do the 12 by 12 price-wise. So I ended up ordering the 12 by 12 instead of the 10 by 10. And like I said, I wish I had a copy. It was a gift. I've already given the gift. But I might still order myself one because it's a super special book. You may see pictures of it elsewhere. But so those are the different size books that I've made. So we had the 8x6, the 8.5 by 8.5, 8.5 by 11, and then 12 by 12, which I don't have here, but I'm definitely going to be making another one or ordering that one again. There are options as well. So I don't know if you can tell by this book. So this is one of my books I make, like their baby book for each of my boys for the first year. So I'm actually in the middle of making my 4th child's first year book. He'll be turning a year here in a month, or next month, less than a month. Anyways, so I'll be wrapping his book up after his first birthday. And so that's what each of these are. So this book, if you can kind of tell, it's not shiny, it's a matte finish, okay, which I really like. This book is glossy. Obviously you can tell because of the glare, okay? So matte, which has a different feel, and then the glossy, okay? They both hold up great. It's just preference. I think there is a little bit of a price difference between the matte and the glossy. But since they've started making the matte finish, that's what I have gone to. All of mine are a matte finish. Just my preference. So some ideas on what do you make book for? What do you need book for? So obviously, like I did, our wedding. So I put all of our wedding pictures from our photographer that I was given into a book. Huge keepsake. And for Christmas, actually, I think the year after we got married, I ordered a copy for each of our parents. So in the end, had 3 of these made for others to have copies. I did a book for our honeymoon. That was a separate book. Something else I did, and I don't have it with me, that's why I'm saying I don't even have all my books here, is I did our wedding guest book. So if you're getting married soon or know somebody getting married soon, I made ours with our engagement pictures. So I put our engagement pictures in a book, and I created the lines on each page and had our engagement pictures throughout the book for people to sign so as they were looking at it. Plus, you're more apt to look back at your wedding guest book if you've got pictures too. Plus, you get to see all the people's handwritings and all that fun stuff. So, highly recommend that. The birth of a child. If you just want to make a book of, you know, your time at the hospital, or like I do, their first year. And you can do milestones, whatever. Vacation. So, I did our honeymoon. But like each year we do, or not each year, but every couple years we go on vacation with my in-laws. So we make a book of that because there's a ton of us that go, a ton of us that take pictures. So we make a book with it. And then what I do every year is a year in review. But I don't make just one each year. I make one of our family. So my husband and I and our kids, I make a year. So each month of the year has a page in it. Let me show you here. So like, for example, this says April. It's got some of my favorite pictures from the month of April. And granted, sometimes it takes 2 spreads for a month, just depending on what's going on and what events have happened. And then I usually put a little about that month up in the corner of each page. So, so I do that for myself, and then me and my siblings on each side do a year in review, and then we give that to our parents for Christmas, and then obviously we all get a copy too. This was last year's 2020. I actually have 2 years ago now. So 2021 is on its way. I just finished that book, and I'm anxious to get that off, show you guys when it comes. Another special book that I made that is going to mean a lot to us in the years to come. Not that it doesn't mean a lot now, because it does. But when we sold our last house and moved to our current house and property, it was kind of eventful and a roller coaster, but God had his hands in it the entire time. And it's so crazy how everything went. So I made a book about that journey of getting from here to there, and kind of how it, I don't want to say ended because it hasn't ended. We're still, our story is still going on. But we became very close with the family that we bought this property from. And so there's the background story of that, which actually ended up leading to our youngest being named after the gentleman that we bought it from. Anyways, it's a whole story. But I made a book about it because, you know, give me 5 years, I'm going to forget all those details. And, you know, when he gets older, I can show him this book, kind of how his namesake came about. But it also tells our life story and where it's going and all the in between. So I think I have 70 plus books that I have made from 2009-ish to now, and I don't plan on stopping. It's a passion of mine, and I would love to help you make a book or make a book for you. So there are ways of going about both of those options, and I'm super excited to offer this up. So if you're interested in any of those ideas that I listed, wedding, you know, a wedding book from your wedding, a guest book for your wedding, you know, maybe it was just Christmas time together, or maybe it was your last holiday with a family member and that family member has passed, and so you have some wonderful pictures that you don't want to lose. Okay, make a book. These books mean so much. Even if they sit on a shelf for a couple years and you don't look at them, you're gonna pull them back out at some point and look at them, and you might cry, you might smile, but the meaning behind these are amazing to not only yourself but others as well. So make one for yourself, make a copy for somebody else. Maybe you need to order two, or you just need to make one for someone. I can help, or I can make it. So reach out to me. I would love to work with you guys. I'm super excited about this. I love this company that I make my books through. They've been outstanding. They make things right. If I make the book for you, I have ways that I can show you the book before ordering it, kind of ways of proofreading it and making sure that details and all that's in there like you want it. Because obviously if it's your book and if you want wording in it, I need your wording, I need your assistance. But we will make that as easy as possible, and I would love to help you start your collection of books as well. So let me know if you have any questions, do you want to get started, need pricing, all of that. I would be happy to help. Michael will be helping with a lot of this as well, so reach out to him. He's going to get to learn all this too. So I'm anxious and excited and all the above. I'm sure it's going to be a little overwhelming at times, but I think it'll work out great. So I will post some more videos soon and look forward to working with you. See ya.